how you doing? This is TV and school. Вивчаємо з тобою ми англійську. How are you? Що скажеш, коли ти зустрінеш якогось іноземця? So, let's speak English. Англійська мова Шекспіра та нью-йоркських таксистів. Англійська стане у нагоді вам, boys і дівчиська.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Ляшко. It's time for English lesson. Let's start. So today we continue talking about films and cinema, and mainly we'll focus on film reviews. But before that, let's check the homework. I asked you to choose the correct words for the sentences. So let's check together. Are you ready? So number one, the main performance, cast or character is played by Kristen Stewart. What is the correct answer? It's a character. So let's read the sentence again. The main character is played by Kristen Stewart. Number two, the film is directed, based, or set in Canada. The correct answer is set. The film is set in Canada. Number three, The Hobbit got good roles, reviews, or subtitles from critics. And the correct answer is roles. No, reviews. The Hobbit got good reviews from critics. Number four, modern films have amazing special technology, blockbusters, or effects. Yes, it's a fact. So modern films have amazing special effects. And number five, the film comes out, releases, or shoots today. The correct answer is comes out. The film comes out today. And the last one, Suresh Sharma stars, plays, or directs Pi in Life of Pi. The correct answer is plays. Suresh Sharma plays Pi in Life of Pi. So let's move on to the cinema and different types of films. I would like to start with the quotation, and this picture can help you. Have a look. We have the different colors, and the colors look in different directions. What does this mean? For example, I love red color, but you can say, I don't like red color, I like yellow one. And your friend can say that he or she loves blue, while your mom or dad loves purple. So, mainly we say that everyone loves different things, and we can say tastes differ. Again, tastes differ. This means that everyone loves different things. I love comedies, but you like watching dramas, for example. So let's talk about different films today. And I have a task for you. Have a look. I got the message from my friend, and she suggests to watch some films today. And in order to keep me busy, she sent me a quest. She sent me emojis, and I need to guess the film. So this is a task for you first, and then I will reveal the real film. Ready? Have a look. What's this? Guess the movie. Number two. We have already mentioned this at the beginning of our lesson. This is number three. We talked about this film the previous lesson. And this one, I'm sure you know the answer. Ready to check? So we have Harry Potter films, James Bond films here, the Hobbit films, and the Life of Pi. So what do you think is number one? Yes, pretty much obvious, this is Harry Potter films. Do you like watching Harry Potter films? My kids love it, and I enjoy them as well. The next one? Yes, this is the Life of Pi. Number three, I guess you know the answer. This is the Hobbit films. And the last one, this is Bondiana, so James Bond films. Let's move on. So we have already discussed the film review of James Bond. Let's remind what is it about. The latest James Bond film, Skyfall, which was released in 2012, is believed to be the best Bond film so far. It stars Daniel Craig as 007, and I think everyone will agree that he gives an amazing performance. The film itself is full of adventure and it has a great soundtrack. The theme tune was performed by Adele, who wrote the song herself. All in all, Skyfall is a great film. Some people think it's too action-packed, but that's the reason we watch 007, isn't it? So, this is the review of James Bond film. Let's have a look at another one that we discussed the previous time. We talked about The Hobbit. Let's have a look at The Hobbit. Remember that I asked Garik and Natalia about the film, what they remember from the story. This is what they mentioned. What do you remember from the story? Let's check. I learned that Peter Jackson directed The Hobbit. I also learned that it was filmed using a special technique called high frame rate technology, which means that the viewer sees 48 frames per second instead of 24. I learned that this gives a much clearer picture. So, let's move on. Have a look at some popular phrases from other films. I'll be back. What kind of film is this? Yes, this is The Terminator. So, Houston, we have a problem. We mentioned this film before. So, what's the name of it? The Apollo 13. Let's move on. Have a look at this dialogue. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? Yes. Really? No. So, where is it from? This is an animated cartoon called Shrek. I'm sure you remember that. If you don't, watch the movie in English, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. So, let's talk about Life of Pi. This is the review of the story. I want you to listen and catch the missing words. Have a look. We have some gaps here and try to guess the words. And then we'll check together. Listen and write down the words. Ready? Let's go.
Life of Pi is a fantasy film based on the prize-winning novel by Jan Martel. It stars Suraj Sharma in the leading role of Pi Patel. The film is a story of survival on the high seas. While sailing from India to Canada, Pi's ship sinks in a terrible storm. Pi finds himself in the middle of the ocean with several animals, including a fierce Bengal tiger. They must figure out how to stay alive in the open ocean. The film combines real-life scenes with images created by computers. Both the plot and the special effects are brilliant.
Okay. So, if you didn't catch the words, you can rewind and listen to the story again, and then check with us. Now, let's have a look at the answer. Let's have a look at the answers. So we have the whole text. Would you like to read with me? Life of Pi is a fantasy film based on the prize-winning novel by Jan Martel. It stars Suresh Sharma in the leading role of Pi Patel. The film is a story of survival on the high seas. While sailing from India to Canada, Pi's ship sinks in a terrible storm. Pi finds himself in the middle of the ocean with several animals, including a fierce Bengal tiger. They must figure out how to stay alive in the open ocean. The film combines real-life scenes with images created by computers. Both the plot and the special effects are brilliant. I watched this film. I really recommend you to watch it again. This is really nice. So, let's move on. Before we listen to more reviews and people talking and describing films, I want to introduce 2 new words for you. Have a look at the picture. The name of the movie is called The Cats. What type of film is it? It's not a comedy, it's not a horror film, it's not an animated cartoon. So we see the performance on the stage and there is a lot of music. So we call the film musical. This is musical. Repeat after me, musical. Good. And one more word that I want to introduce to you. Have a look at these 2 pictures. So when you have a road and it is divided into 2 parts, so it is spread. Or you were in a relationship and you decided to separate, so we call this split up. So a couple split up, or the road splits up. Now, let's go to the exercise. So, your task is, you are going to hear a conversation between two friends about films. For each person, 1, 2, 3, and 4, this is Sally, Brian, Phil, and Tamara. Please choose the type of film they saw and write the correct letter, A, B, C, D, or E, in the box. One type of film doesn't match any of the people, so this is extra, we don't need it. Before we do this, this is a typical exercise for listening. So, we see the task, and before we start listening, we need to go through types of films, to keywords, and think about the words that you might hear in the conversation. So let's predict what it's going to be about. If we see the word comedy, so a comedy film, what can we hear in the conversation while people describe a comedy film? Probably laugh, laughter, funny, or any other words. Let's check what I have here. Funny, laugh, laughter, amusing, or jokes. Let's go with the next one, action. What can you find in the action film? What can you hear people talking, describing this film? Action-packed, adventurous, violent sometimes, fight, or good and evil. Let's think about musical. What can you hear when people talk about musical? Probably music, performance. What else? Soundtrack, maybe. Let's have a look and check. Score, music, dances as well, instruments, singing, and songs. Let's move on. Drama. What can we have here? What can we hear while people talk about drama? Sad, moving, depressing, dramatic, emotional, and cry. And the last one is horror film. What kind of adjectives or words can you hear while people describe horror films? Probably cry, probably scary, frightening. Let's have a look. Scary, frightening, afraid, creepy, terrifying. Okay, now we are ready for the listening task. So let's do it. Again, we listen to the conversation between two people, and we have 4 people mentioned in the dialogue. Sally, Brian, Phil, and Tamara. Pay attention what they like. Comedy, action, musical, drama, or horror. There is going to be one extra, remember. Ready to listen? Let's go.
Hi, Sally. How was your weekend?
Oh, hi, Phil. It was quite busy, actually. I had hockey practice on Saturday morning, and in the evening I went to the cinema with a few friends. We saw a really great film called Forever One.
Really? I was at the cinema on Saturday too, but I didn't see that film. Is it a comedy?
No, it's a musical. It was really enjoyable. We couldn't stop dancing in our seats. So, what film did you see?
Well, I went with my brother, Brian, but it was impossible for us to choose a film that we both wanted to see. He's a big fan of action films, so he wanted to see Clash of Fists, but I wanted to see the latest drama with Daniel Day-Lewis.
So, what did you do?
Well, in the end, we decided to split up. Both films were on at the same time, so we just met up outside the cinema afterwards.
I have the same problem with my sister Tamara sometimes. On Saturday, for example, she decided to stay at home and watch a horror film on DVD instead of joining me at the cinema.
Well, I guess we all have different tastes.
Good. Now let's check. What does Sally like? What's her favorite? And you can tell me that this is musical. Let's check. Let's hear the sentence that she mentioned about this.
We saw a really great film called Forever One. It's a musical.
So we know that she saw a musical. And the correct answer is C. Let's move on with Brian. What is the correct answer for Brian? Yes, this is action. Let's check with the sentence from the dialogue.
Well, I went with my brother Brian, but it was impossible for us to choose a film that we both wanted to see. He's a big fan of action films.
So, we hear that he's a big fan of action film, so correct answer is B. Let's move on about Phil. Phil is the person who is in the conversation. So, what he likes? Yes, he likes dramas. Let's check with the sentence from the dialogue.
But I wanted to see the latest drama with Daniel Day-Lewis.
So, he wants to see drama with Daniel Day-Lewis. Let's fix Tamara. So, what does she like? Yep, she likes horror films. Let's check.
I have the same problem with my sister Tamara sometimes. On Saturday, for example, she decided to stay at home and watch a horror film on DVD.
So, the correct answer is E. And what we don't have here is A. We don't have comedy. I'm sure that your answers were correct. If you want to listen again, just rewind and try again. Let's move on. It's quiz time. I'm going to check you a bit, so get ready for the questions. We have the list of sentences, 13 sentences here, and you need to choose the correct item. The correct preposition mainly. So all these sentences are taken from the reviews that we discussed. I give you the time, so you do it on your own with the piece of note, and I'm going to do it on the board, and then we'll check together. Ready? Let's go. Now let's check together. So you have your answers ready, I have my answers ready, but I made 3 mistakes here. So please check now what is correct and what is wrong. Compare to your answers. And you can already tell me that, Natalia, number 4 is not correct. It's not at. So at is not correct. Let's have a look. The book is about survival on the high seas. What about the next mistake? And this is number 10. So number 10, with is not correct. The film tells the story of a famous. And there is one more mistake. Yes, this sentence is number 13. So, in is not correct. The Hobbit brings to life. Now, let's check together. So, these are the correct answers. Let's go and read the sentences. You can read with me. The film is based on a great book. The main part of the story is set in Africa. Martin Freeman plays the role of a Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit. The book is about survival on the high seas. The story starts when a ship sinks in on a terrible storm. We sail to the island on a boat. I can't tell the difference between the real tiger and the computer-generated animal. I made friends with Andy on my first day of school. The documentary is about a day in the life of a film director. The film tells the story of a famous American president. Iron Man 3 was released in 2013. The film was made with the use of computer technology. And the last one, The Hobbit brings to life the fantasy world of Middle-earth. These are very useful phrases for the film review. We are going to write it the next lesson, so get ready. Your homework for the next lesson is, first of all, revise the vocabulary from lesson 1 to 7 and choose a film to review for the next lesson. We are going to have a writing lesson next time, so be ready. Revise the vocabulary and get ready with the useful phrases. That's it for today. There is a bell and we need to stop the lesson. Thank you very much. See you next time.